How many think it would be fairly simple to take a successful person, somebody you admire, to lunch once a quarter? How many think it would also be simple not to do? See, it's so easy to do, it's so simple to do it. And that's the little difference. That's just a refinement of philosophy. Also, I want to take a failure to lunch once a quarter. You know, we sort of understand, gosh, but you want to learn from both sides of the equations. You see some guy get into real estate. Intelligent guy, struggle, fail. Gosh, you got to take him out to lunch and say, how did you mess it up? You know, I found that we tend not to want to take failure out to lunch. We don't want to pay them. But I tell you what, they're incredibly useful. And you'll start spotting habits, patterns. Gosh, they avoided this, they avoided that. And sure enough, you can figure it out. Take good notes and you will quickly see how to avoid this. I call learn from both sides of the stories. The examples, here's what to do. Warnings, what not to do. The next way to get smart is read all the books. And I will tell you, books can change everything if you will read. The key is to invest. People spend their lifetimes. The wisdom of the world truly is at your fingertips today. Jim sold me on reading. He said, Greg, if you will just read one book a week. Think about it. One book a week, that's 50 books a year. Over 10 years, that's 500 books. He said, what do you think 500 books will do to your lifestyle, your communication, your ability, your relationships, every aspect of your life? He says, if you'll just invest an hour a day, you'll get through at least one book a week. What an incredible impact. Now, when I worked for Jim, I got hooked on this. Then I got married. Now, fortunately, Janet was also a student of Jim's. And when Janet and I got married, we both committed to reading a book a week. And those first 3 years of our marriage, Janet was very committed. She did the book a week. I probably made a book a month. But at the end of 3 years, she'd read 150 books. I'd read about 36. And one day we went to a party. We went to this sort of get together, the social thing down in San Diego. Some very influential people there. And my wife was talking to a bunch of people. And she started talking about stuff I'd never heard of. I was so blown away. I thought, gosh, how does she know all this stuff? As we were driving home, I said, Janet, where did you learn about this? She said, well, I read this book, and I read this book, and I thought, oh my gosh. I suddenly realized that she was outgrowing me significantly. And it dawned on me that I was 150 books behind. So I made a commitment. I said, you know what? I've got to read a book a week. Then the awful truth hit me. I'm going to have to read 2 books a week. One to catch up, and one to stay even. Now I have to say, I've never made it to 2 books a week. For the last 25 years, I have not missed a book a week, ever. And there's many that I've gotten in 2 or 3. And I will tell you, it's changed my life in every single way possible. A book a week will change everything. If you want to get better at it, study it. Now, if you want to get better at a relationship, don't read a relationship book. Read 50. And I will tell you, you cannot believe what it'll do if you read 50 books on relationships. You'll start to see the patterns. You'll start to recognize, gosh, I probably really should do this. See, a book won't convince you. 10, 15, 20 of them will make a huge change. I want to think about it. Can you imagine the devastation on your life of falling 500 books behind? What's that costing you in influence? As a parent, as a realtor, as a business person, as a leader. So don't let it cost you. Now, I'm going to start by developing a library of a serious student. If you were walking to my home today, you'd say, Greg, your library is fairly impressive. You start picking up the books and saying, my goodness, these are some serious books. You are a serious student. Now, I'll have to tell you, I have not read everything that's in my library, but I feel smarter just walking in. And now, my job is to read all the things I've collected. I will tell you, there's true treasures to leave in your life. One is your journals. If you will journal your life, and write down the key things that you learned along the way, I will tell you, it will change everything. Recently, I shared my journals with my oldest son. He was going through some marital challenges after 12 years of marriage. And I pulled out some journals that I wrote 20 years ago. And I said, when Jen and I had some challenges, here's the process I went through. Read a couple of these journals. He said, Greg, this is unbelievable. He said, why didn't you share with me these earlier? Now, I always thought I'd give him my journals when I died. But I will tell you what, if you leave your journals behind, your kids will treasure that more than your Mercedes. They will get more value out of it. And you can use them to have an impact so much earlier on. Your library can have a significant impact. It will be truly the treasures that you can leave behind. Next, I want you to get excited. If you will get serious, get smart, and now get excited about what you can accomplish and what you can do, that can have a huge impact on your future. And getting excited starts with your attitude. We've all heard the saying, attitude is everything. I will tell you today, it's the only thing. If you have the right attitude, anything is possible. If you have the wrong attitude, you aren't going to do anything. So I want you to think about it. How we view every situation literally helps create our reality. The way we create problems, if we look at a problem and say, oh my goodness, this is so big, this is unsurmountable, we won't even try. But you can look at a challenge and say, oh my goodness, by the time I get into solving this challenge, I'm going to be so much better, so much more able to compete. And that starts with your attitude. Shift your focus away from what's bad in every situation. Jim taught me, Greg, in every situation, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what's the opportunity? What's good in this? Where can I grow? Where can I get better? And I will tell you, it will change everything. A little shift in philosophy, a little shift looking at the challenges and saying, what's good in here? And if you will teach yourself how to do this, it will change everything. If you will reframe the situation in perspective, you cannot believe. You always have a positive attitude. It's so simple. What I found is that whatever we get in life is what we focus on. If we're focused on challenge, we're going to get more challenge. We focus on good things, we focus on good things. We get more of them. Whatever we focus on tends to expand as well. I love the quote from the ancestral mind, things turn out best for people who make the best of the way things turn out. And I found that is so true. So focus on what you do want. This is so important in so many aspects of our life. As parents, are we focused on all the things our kids are doing right, or are we focused on all the things they're doing wrong? They do 99 things right, we see the one thing they did wrong, and we point it out. Give that up. And if you will just make that one little refinement, say, gosh, I am going to make sure that as a parent, I point out dramatically more things that my kids do right than I point out things they do wrong, it will change the relationship with them forever. You will find it so much more positive, so much more healthy for them and for you. You'll have so much less conflict. Focus on the things that you're right, that you like in your spouse. Unfortunately, most of us focus on all the little things that irritate us. And now, as we focus on them, they become bigger. They didn't put the toothpaste cap on the right way. They didn't turn it enough time. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Focus on the things that you really value. And what makes such a huge difference, ask yourself today, is your thinking based on scarcity or abundance? Because if you think on it, focus on scarcity, it's so hard to do well. Gosh, people say, yeah, real estate's hard now. The marketplace isn't what it used to be. You know, I have some problems. There's financial pressure. I'm not as young as I used to be. Now's a bad time. All my clients blame me for all these things. And guess what? You start thinking this way, you can wallow in it. And when you're frustrated, disappointed, focusing on all the challenges out there, how much action are you likely to take? Which will make all of this even worse. On the other hand, if you think, there's a lot of business being done right now. It's an incredible time to be in real estate. 2011. Anybody have an idea how much money was paid in real estate commissions last year in America? So I'm always amazed. Realtors don't study the fundamentals of their business. Last year was the 4th best year in history for real estate commissions being paid. $42 billion in real estate commissions paid out to realtors last year. Who can tell me what the best year in real estate was for commissions earned? 2006. 2006 was the best year. How much got paid out in 2006? $48 billion. Last year was 42. Gosh. This year, 2012 is already on track to probably be around $45 billion. What an incredible opportunity. There is so much out there. I mean, I want you to get focused on all the things that you can live a joyous life. You live in America. America is easy. China would be hard. Bangladesh. See, people are not saying, gosh, if I could just make it to Mexico. See, they're saying, gosh, how can I make it to America? There is so much opportunity here. Focus on what you can control. Think about what you can do, the positive aspects of your life. Think about the strengths, the possibilities, and this will make such a huge difference. Also, I want you to forgive everybody who's ever done you wrong. And this is so critical. Forgiveness clears anger, resentment out of our lives in every aspect of it. It lifts us emotionally. I have a question. If you're frustrated, angry because somebody physically abused you, mentally abused you, took advantage of you, stole from you, did whatever they did to you, if you're angry, resentful, does that bother them at all? No, it only kills you, causes you heart problems. So what I mean to realize is that forgiving people is more important for you than the person you forgive. So just get rid of it. I really believe there are no justified resentments. This is true with your kids, your spouse. Give up all blame. Jim said, Greg, blame is one of the most destructive things you will ever do. He says, every time you blame anybody for anything, you lose control of your life. You give away your power. And I want you to realize you cannot afford it. Give it up. If you'll focus on what you can do, it makes such a huge difference. Also, focus on an attitude of gratitude. Now, unfortunately, most of us put our attention on unfulfilled wants and needs instead of the things that we have fulfilled. Gratitude keeps us from taking things in our life, the people in our life, for granted. And I want you to start noticing things in your life and feel true appreciation. If you will live with an attitude of gratitude, it will make such a huge difference for you. Simple little things, looking at everything in your life so that you can be grateful for it. Here's a great exercise. When I went to Jim, I traveled with him for 2 years, watching him do his 4-hour personal development seminar. And he gave this exercise at almost every seminar. He said, I want you to take an hour and sit down and write, what am I grateful for? What am I proud of? What am I happy about? What am I committed to? Who loves me? Who do I love? And write down what you can do to make a difference in somebody's life today. And for 2 years working for Jim, every time he did this exercise, I always remember thinking, oh, that's a pretty good idea. Those people should do that. In 2 years of of working for Jim, how many times do you think I sat down and wrote the exercise down? Roughly. Not once. 2 years, hearing it over and over again. A year after I left Jim, I ran across a book called Super Self by Charles Gibbons. Wonderful personal development book. Halfway through that book, he's got this exercise. I said, wow, he stole it from Jim. About a year later, I started reading a lot of Emerson's works. In 1891, Emerson wrote an essay called Gratitude. He has almost the identical exercise. He wrote it in 1891. I said, Jim stole it from Emerson. A couple years later, I was opening up a book. Tony Robbins wrote a book called Unlimited Power. He's got the exercise in the book. Now, he worked for Jim too. I thought, this exercise gets around. Then I found out that the exercise was written by a monk in the 13th century. No matter where I went, I seemed to stumble across it every year. Then about 15 years ago, my wife and I paid $3,500 to go to a week-long personal development seminar. We showed up. I heard good things about this. We went there, this started at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. My wife and I were sitting there. This guy came out, and he said, we're going to start this week off by having you take the next 2.5 hours and do an attitude of gratitude exercise. And he gave us this exercise. I could not believe it. I paid $7,000 for my wife and I to be here to get this stale old exercise. It was written in the 13th century. I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe I took my wife. I said, we gotta leave. We gotta get our money back. This is crazy. I'm not gonna pay this kind of money for this stale old exercise. My wife looked at me and said, Greg, we only have 2.5 hours. She started writing the exercise. I begged her, I said, Janet, come on. Probably do the seminar better than they could anyway. After about 3 or 4 minutes of me irritating her, she stood up, moved 3 seats over. I now knew I was in trouble. I said, oh, unsupportive spouse. Went through all this emotional garbage. Finally, after about 10, 15 minutes of just sitting there fuming, I started thinking about it. Finally got control of my emotions, started thinking about it, and said, oh, goodness. Then I realized, gosh, I only have about 2 hours left. I might as well do the exercise. Today, every morning when I wake up, I take 5 minutes and I read the answers to these questions. I have them written on the inside of my journal. And if you will take 5 minutes every morning and think, what am I grateful for about today? What am I proud of? If you will just take 5 minutes every morning and read the answer to these questions, it will change your life. I cannot believe the impact this exercise has had on my life. It has been truly revolutionary. I don't want you to make my mistake. I have a question. Would it be hard for you to do this exercise? No, it'd be easy to. But guess what? It's going to be easy
Not to.
not to. But if you will do this, and what I found is this, if you start out the day with an attitude of gratitude, it's hard to have a bad day. If you want to have a joyous, happy life, start every day with a little bit of happiness. Of what you're excited about, it will make such a huge difference. Now, I'm going to give you a key that if you will follow, can truly change so many things in your life. And that's learning how to express gratitude. I have found that human beings are starved for gratitude. I think one of the biggest things we as humans were designed to do was to serve life, to have a positive impact in the life of others. But rarely do we get the feedback of knowing exactly what we did and how to do it. Unfortunately, a lot of people express gratitude in a way that can be seen as manipulation or isn't useful to the receiver. They'll run up to you and say, gosh, you are so intelligent. What does that mean? Well, what specifically do I do? So what I want you to do is use this formula of gratitude expression. And if you will do this, I guarantee you will improve every relationship you use with, and it will help you think about your life in a different way. First of all, when you're expressing gratitude, make a clear observation. So, you know, when I express my gratitude, and tell people specifically what you did. Be very clear. When you answered the call this way. And now, tell them how it made you feel. It made me feel like I could count on you, supported, and my need for support, trust, was met. So make a clear observation. Here's exactly what you did. Here's how it made you feel, and what need of yours were met. Now, it takes a while to get used to doing this. But if you will go through the action steps, it will make such a huge difference. I want you to think about it. If you will express gratitude this way, and make a commitment to do this every day of your life, before 10 o'clock in the morning, it's amazing the impact it will have. Be committed to say, gosh, every day, before 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to express at least one gratitude to somebody. And if you're looking for things to be grateful for first thing in the morning, you will have a grateful day. Now, this will change everything. Now, I like to get to the office early, so I'm always looking for things that, first to get to the office. Sort of ran out of gratitudes every day. Went through everybody and let them know. Started making an impact. Then I, one day thinking, guys, it's almost 10, so I went to Starbucks. And I'm going to say, it's almost 10, I don't have my gratitude expressed. So the guy that gives me my Starbucks got a name tag on it. His name was Timothy. I said, Timothy, every day I come in here, I just want you to know, I am so grateful. Your attitude, the way you greet people with such friendly enthusiasm, is so positive. It makes me feel a little bit better every day. And it meets my need for connection, human connection. And you cannot believe this guy went nuts. I thought he was going to come out and hug me. I started doing this at Starbucks. Thanked all the people on a regular basis. Now they got to know me over time. One day I showed up. I am a little bit later than normal. Happened to be about 8 o'clock, so the rush, the line was all the way around, almost out the door. I get in line, take a breath, think, I can't believe this line. About 45 seconds later, Timothy leaves the front of the line. He walks out the door with a cup of coffee. And as he walks out the door, he says, I see me. I followed him outside. He said, I just wanted to give you your coffee so you didn't have to stand in line. I said, thank you so much. How did I ever deserve this? He said, we all agree you're our favorite client. I want you to realize you can have a huge impact on people if you'll just express gratitude. Take a moment right now and write down 2 or 3 gratitudes that you wish you would have expressed but haven't. How many of you right now know that you have somebody you should thank, should express gratitude for, but haven't recently? Rest of you liars. I want you to think about it. If you will just practice this, if you will just write down using these steps, what did they do? How did you feel? What made you feel mad? And you get in the practice of this, it'll have a huge impact. Also, I want you to think about this. What gratitudes would you have loved to hear? And sometimes, to meet our own need for fulfillment, for gratitude, this can be an incredibly powerful exercise. I want you to think about it. How many of you did something that enriched somebody's life that you would have loved to hear a gratitude for from somebody? Maybe your spouse, a kid, a client. Anybody ever have that experience? I'm the only one? All of you guys are getting 20-year gratitude to me? That's bad. See, I want you to think about it. If you go through this and you think, gosh, I would have loved to have this gratitude, and this is something that can have a huge impact, write it down, the gratitude, as if the other person was saying it to you. And just guess, what do you think the specific activity you did, how do they feel about it? Now, I found that first of all, just doing this exercise, you'll feel better because you'll realize you're making a difference. And for the people that are really significant to you, the important people, you go to your spouse, your kids, and say, gosh, I wrote a gratitude that I would have loved to have heard from you. I just want to read it to you and see what you think. Now, read it to them and say, is this something you actually felt? If you felt it, why didn't you express it to me? And I will tell you, you cannot believe what an impact this will have on your relationships, especially with your spouse, your kids, the significant people in your life. You know, the funny thing is, they will tell you, well, I felt that way, but I didn't express it to you because I was embarrassed, because I was nervous how you react. And little things like that will make a huge difference if you will get to it. So write down some gratitudes also that you would be very sad about if you did not express. And maybe your homework tonight, I want you to write down 5 gratitudes, 5 people that were significant in your life that you have not expressed a significant gratitude to for. Maybe a parent, a mentor. And write out the exercise. What exactly they did, how did you feel, what need of yours was met, and think about it. If you never had an opportunity to express that gratitude, how sad you would be, and then, in the next couple of days, call these 5 people and express the gratitude. You cannot believe the emotional energy it will get from you if you will do that. Now, would this be hard to do? How many of you have the physical capacity to do it? But it's also easy. And so I'm going to realize it starts there. Keep a gratitude journal. And if you'll keep a gratitude journal of what you're grateful for, the impact it has, it makes such a huge difference. The reason I keep a gratitude journal now is at the end of each day I review the day and think, gosh, who should I express gratitude for? Now, I'm trying to do it throughout the day, but it's oftentimes you get busy, you cut up, and now if you just take a few minutes and review, it's easy to go back, and now you can just drop an email, express the gratitude, leave a voicemail, see them the next day, and it will make such a huge difference. And it will build so much loyalty if you will do that. Now, I also want you to take charge of how you talk to yourself. I'm amazed at how we beat ourselves up with our talk. Think differently, talk positively to yourself, and it will dramatically alter the way you think, the way you smile. I really think Truman had it right. He says if decisions are choices and our thinking dictates our decisions, then we are where we are because of our thinking. It's all with the thinking process that makes a difference. I also want you to be excited about the reality that if you help enough people get what they want, you can get everything you want. And that's the great promise. If you can help enough clients achieve their real estate goals, you can achieve all yours. What I don't want you to do is settle for a small life. Get excited about your gifts, your unique personality. Every one of us has a unique set of opportunities, skills. You want to get excited about it, and your gifts will make a place for you. I believe that there truly are unique elements about every single one of us. Also remember that happiness is a decision. You've got to learn to be happy right here, right now, while you work to create what you want. If you don't decide to be happy, life becomes much more of a struggle. Now, you can do anything in life with a happy attitude or an attitude of resentment, no matter how difficult, how challenging. I love the cartoon of the two guys who look very old. They're sort of skeletons locked up in a brigade. And one prisoner turns to the next prisoner, and he says, we finally got them exactly where we want them. You can be happy in the most difficult, challenging situations. If you read Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, he found happiness in places in a concentration camp. And he said that's what kept him through, finding a way to find happiness in the absolute most dire situations. Now, if you can find happiness living in a concentration camp, how many of your problems seem fairly minor? So understand, be happy about it. Say, thank God. I get to wake up in America. I get to sell real estate. What an incredible opportunity. Finally, you gotta get going. When it comes down to it, everything else we talked about is sort of theory, but now you've got to take action. Success is easy if you take action. The problem is it's also easy not to take action. You know, people say, Greg, what do you mean success is easy? Here's what I mean by success. Success is easy. Find something you can do, and then work hard at it. If it's something you can do, I think it's easy, because you can do it. Now you have to work hard at doing it. You have to get up early, stay late, do whatever it takes, but I'm going to work hard at it. There is nothing quite like the massive action plan. If you will take massive action on your real estate career, on your relationships, it's amazing what you can accomplish. Unfortunately, most people don't take massive action. They do it just a little bit, just enough to get by. Take massive action. Develop the philosophy of whatever it takes. I do some coaching for a group of CEOs in Orange County. They are remarkable people. They do business around the world, and they are what I call miracle workers. If you give them a problem to solve, a difficult challenge in business, they will look at you and say, no problem. Now, how can they tell you no problem when you give them a challenge? Because they have that attitude, they will do whatever it takes, read as many books as it takes, work as hard as it takes, do as much consulting as it takes, do whatever it takes so that they solve the problem. You got to go around some people like this. It'll have a huge impact. Then, do not neglect the little things you can do every day that are easy to do. Last year, cardiovascular disease was the #1 killer in the United States. And the sad part is, 92% of it was preventable. 92% preventable. Would have been easier for people to watch their diet, exercise. Today, if you have your first heart attack, there's an excellent chance you'll live to be a very old person. Because once you've had your first heart attack, you tend to change. You tend to say, oh my goodness, it's true, I'm going to have an impact, and so you make the changes. So remember this, when it comes to activity, you want to do two key things. First of all, do all you can. Do all you can as a parent, as a spouse, as a realtor. To succeed at whatever level, then do the very best you can at it all. You know, do all you can, the best you can. Let's say today, you drop down and you start doing pull-ups or push-ups. And you give us your best, and you say, gosh, I can only do 5 push-ups. Maybe you aren't into push-ups. For whatever reason, I can't imagine why. And now the best you can do is 5. Now, is that all you can do? No, because if you just rest a little while, just give a little rest. Now, a little while later, you can do 5 more. Rest a little while, then you can do 5 more. Rest a little while, do 5 more. Rest a little while, do 8 more. People say, Greg, how did you get from 5 to 8? You did the activity, you rested a little while, did a little more. This works with everything. As you practice, you tend to get better. Physically. If you want to get stronger, what do you have to do? Repetitive work. Take a little rest, then go back to work. Now here's the key, don't rest too long. What if you do 5 push-ups, don't do another for 6 months? Guess what? Doing 5 is going to be a struggle. See, it's that constant repetitive thing. Now, when it comes to rest, I think some of us get off track. The good book has an excellent philosophy. It says, 6 days labor, 1 day rest. Here's what you do. I'm going to work. Now, rest is important, but don't make rest an objective. Make it a necessity. Old Testament said 6 days labor, 1 day rest. Now we've got it down to 5 and 2. Now, I don't know if 5 and 2 is okay. It's probably fine. You can't think of everything when you put one of these together. But now when you think about it, what if you take it all the way the other way? Say, gosh, I want to do nothing, get everything. See, it's just a philosophical refinement. Just think what you decide. I've also found that your activities are a reflection of your true priorities. If you say, gosh, I really want to be a successful realtor, then we look at you and you say, gosh, I haven't called my past clients consistently for years. It's probably not a reflection that that's your true priority. People say, gosh, I want to be a better parent, and they haven't read a parenting book. Probably not committed to being a good parent. They haven't gone to a parenting seminar. See, I want you to think about it. Your activity is a reflection of what your true philosophy is, of what your values are. And if you don't think about it, refine it, you will find you'll make mistakes. I want you to realize push-ups and sales have a lot in common. You start the push-up plan, just like you start the sales plan. You make sales, you get better. Now, make sure that when it comes to sales, you have an activity plan, and your activity plan is in writing. And I want you to realize that whatever your sales plan is, it's got to be in writing, because if it's just in your head, you can't work on it. I've had the good fortune to work with some of the top realtors out there. It's absolutely incredible to see their marketing plan, their writing plan. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. And it's easy to work on their plan. It's hard to fix a conversation though. Then keep track of your numbers. What you want to do is make sure you understand your ratio of results. Because every now and then you've got to track the activity, because the name of the early game is results. In times of personal professionalism, say, gosh, I want to see what kind of results I'm actually getting. And so what you want to do is look at the ratio of results. Whatever you do, you will get a ratio of results. And whatever the ratio starts, it tends to continue. So ask yourself, what is your ratio for your sales activities? For the direct mail you send out, the calls you make? Ask yourself, gosh, for everything I'm doing, for my advertising, what are the results? How much do I spend? What's the payoff? How many leads do I generate? Out of those leads, how many do I turn into actual transactions? If I send out my prospecting brochure, how much do I get back? If I send out a, just listen, just sold, a power card, how much do I get back? If I run a Facebook ad, what's the ratio? And track everything. And start looking at the little things you can do every day. So many agents get faked out because they don't do little things every day. Today, make sure every day you're contacting 5 expires, 5 past clients, 5 friends, 10 people in your area of focus. Now when you think about it, would this be really hard to do? You look at it and say, guys, that's 25 people. You do that 5 days a week. How many people is that every week? This is not hard. Just do the math. 125 people. You do that every week. How many people is that in a month? If 500, 600 people found out about you, contacted you, made an emotional connection with you every month, how many of you probably do better? Now, it's easy to do. It's not hard, not complicated, but it's also easy. And that's just a refinement of your philosophy. How many of you know if you showed me your activity plan for the next 12 months? I'd be so blown away. I'd say, gosh, I've got to take your plan, teach it to all the other realtors out there. It'll make them so much more successful, so much more professional. How many of you don't totally blown away with your plan? How many of you are a little embarrassed about your plan? So why? It starts, it's so simple, so easy. I love a good book. There's a wonderful book called The Book of Acts. It's the activities, it's in the New Testament. And the Book of Acts makes it into almost every person's best written books on the planet. Scholars, doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are, they'll say this is one of the best read books. And it's an interesting book because it's the activities that the early Christians took to build Christianity into the incredible influential thing it has become. Now, when you read the book of the activities, they will show you what they did. And what they did was they took massive action. Massive. And when you get done reading it, you say, no wonder Christianity has become so influential. Look at what they did. Now some people say, well, it's what they believe, what they said. But they took massive action. It's interesting. Paul said, listen, go into a city. Just tell the story. If they are receptive, spend a little while, and move on. If they are not receptive, turn around, knock the dust off your feet, and go talk to the next group. What a magic plan. What a great sales lesson. Tell your story. Get out there. If people are receptive, help them. If they aren't, say next. What a magic plan. But I'm going to keep going because the name of the game is results. Every now and then you've got to take a look and say, gosh, am I getting the results? Is my activity plan taking me the direction I really want to go? And this will make such a huge difference for you. So here's the 4 things. Get serious. Get smart. Get excited. Then get going. Then realize that real fortune is not how much money you make. Real fortune is gained by the person you become. When I went to work for Jim, he said, Greg, one of my goals is to help you become a millionaire. I said, that is great. I would love to be a millionaire. He said, Greg, probably we have different goals though. He said, you probably are excited about the money. He said, I want you to be excited about the skills. The discipline. The person you become so that you become a millionaire. Now, I want you to realize if you become a millionaire, you have the skills, the discipline. It's not about the money. You can lose it, but you know you have the skills to get it back again. Now, once I did become a millionaire, I did blow it again. I did find that there's 2 sets of skills to work on. One is how to make money, and one is how to keep money. And you need both sets. But I also want you to focus on lifestyle. Because this is where you get the biggest difference. Lifestyle is the art of getting joy from your resources. Joy from the substance, the person you become, the influence you create. And you can go through life one of 2 ways. Living an incredible life, or just getting through. The guy gets rich, and then his kids come bugging him. Dad, can I have this? Can I have this? Wads up a $20 bill, throws it at his son and says, gosh, if you need it that bad, take it. He got the resources, but he didn't get the lifestyle. He didn't get the understanding, the appreciation. And it doesn't take much to absolutely blow your family's mind, to do things that can actually have a huge impact. You can buy a book on lifestyle. It costs you $40. Not $4,000, not $40,000, $40. See, how do you have a unique experience? You got to weave the days. You got to plan it. You got to think about it. The guy, all of a sudden, at 12 o'clock on the day of his wedding anniversary, says, "Oh my goodness, it's my wedding anniversary." Runs down to the drugstore and buys a trinket. Not exactly a well-woven anniversary. See, but if you plan it, You say, gosh, I'm going to set it up. We're going to go walk around the art town. I'm going to give my spouse a rose with a note. At the beginning of the day, it's just going to walk around with it to remind her of my love for her. You can create an extraordinary experience. And it costs a rose. It's not an amount, it's a plan. It's thinking it through. How do you weave it? How do you plan it so that now you can get true lifestyle from your resources? That will make everything. Now, we've been talking about how to do an average from fortune, but let me tell you, I just want to give you a quick plan on how to mess it all up. Because I found this is really quick and easy if you want to. If you want to mess up your life, let me give you the plan.